From Donald Trump saying grab him by the pussy a decade ago, to Paula Deen making a racist joke almost 3 decades ago, to Kevin Hart making homophobic jokes a decade ago, despite that being his fucking job, to the current day where Tucker Carlson is now the subject of an attack by Media Matters, where they try to paint him as a sexist because he had the audacity to have opinions a fucking decade ago. Well, you can't cuck the tuck no matter how much you try, so let's see the left's latest desperate attempt to take down Tucker since they clearly can't do so on an intellectual level. Hey everybody and welcome back. So, I saw this bullshit on Twitter from Now This News where they try to attack our favorite news host, Tucker Carlson. How do they do this? By playing audio clips that were expertly tracked down by the best investigative journalists in the industry. People that should be feared by all who are in the public's eye and may have said something vulgar at any time in their life. I'm just fucking with you. It was audio from times when Tucker called into a show called the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. So even though this was all public anyway, the leftist website that dug it up believes they're exposing a horrible, racist, sexist, alt-right asshole. Even though Tucker's literally none of those things. But we'll get to the website later. Let's first take a look at the video that brought this to my attention. I'm not going to play the entire video, but I'll link it in the description for those that want to see it.
By the way, women hate you when they do you wrong and you put up with it.
Yes. Exactly.
Women, because they hate weakness. They're like dogs that way. They can smell it on you and they have contempt for it. They'll bite you. I mean, I love women, but they're extremely primitive. They're basic. They're not that hard to understand. And one of the things they hate more than anything is weakness in a man.
How sexist of him to observe something that is the fucking truth. Women are literally like this. They prefer strong men, not weak little cucks. Now, I would have worded it differently than Tucker did, but context, people. Context. Also, the fact that you don't like the truth doesn't make him a sexist for saying it. Anyway, now this explains that the audio was covered by Media Matters, and you can only imagine my shock when I discovered that Media Matters exists solely to talk shit about conservatives. And yes, I looked through their website. That's basically all they do. Anyway, they go on to complain that Tucker is sexist because he said that Martha Stewart's daughter seemed a little bit cunty.
Alexa Stewart, we run into her all the time.
She seems
Cunt.
awful.
Yeah, she is awful.
They're very cunty.
She seems extremely
I like
cunty.
to hear that word out of, oh yeah, I stepped over me. She seems what? Now go ahead.
She just does seem a little cunty. Yeah, I mean, you said it. I'm just agreeing with you. I don't use that word because
right. I'd love for Tucker Carlson tonight on MSNBC, a girl that comes across kind of cunty.
So apparently it's sexist to think that women can be terrible human beings, and also sexist to use the word cunt. Which I would like to pose the question, if it's sexist to call someone a cunt, is it also sexist to call someone a dick? I don't think either one is a sexist slur, but just some food for thought. Anyway, they go on to complain that Tucker made crude remarks about Supreme Court nominee Lena Keegan, in which he makes a few jokes about her being an unattractive woman. And, I mean, since the left has never once made a joke about Donald Trump bathing in Cheeto dust.
Not as nasty as a man who looks like he bathes in Cheeto dust.
But I forgot about the left's policy of rules for thee but not for me, as demonstrated by this next clip.
I'm glad you brought that up, Tucker, because I meant to tell you, no matter how much somebody disagrees with you, I thought it was absolutely disgusting that Ariana Huffington attacked your father.
Oh my God, she's a pig.
What
and,
happened?
and the funny thing is, I've known her for a long time, and knew her husband and everything, and I could have a lot to say about that, actually.
So it's okay for a woman to talk shit about Tucker and his dad, but Tucker calling that same woman a pig is sexist? In the words of Scribe,
got it.
They also take numerous other quotes from Tucker out of context. For example, when he was discussing the difference between underage marriage, which he said he did not support, and the act of kidnapping and raping a child. I'll play the audio and point out what I'm talking about here.
Well, actually, he's not in prison for that. Warren Jeffs didn't marry underage girls.
No, he's in prison for facilitation of child rape.
Whatever the hell that means.
That means
he's in prison because he's weird and unpopular, and he has a different lifestyle that other people find creepy.
No, he's an accessory to the rape of children. That is a felony, and a serious one at that.
What do you mean an accessory? He's like got some weird religious cult where he thinks it's okay to, marry underage girls. But he didn't do it. Why wouldn't the guy who actually did it, who had sex with an underage girl, he should be the one who's doing life? The rapist in this case has made a lifelong commitment to live and take care of the person. So it is a little different. I mean, let's just be honest about it. He's not accused of touching anybody. He is accused of facilitating a marriage between a 16-year-old girl and a 27-year-old man.
But
That's the accusation. That's what they're calling felony
I know,
rape.
but
in our
That's
state,
bullshit.
But
I'm sorry. Now, this guy may be a total creep, maybe a
I
child
love you to
rapist.
death.
I'm just telling you that arranging a marriage between a 16-year-old and a 27-year-old is not the same as pulling a stranger off the street and raping her. That's bullshit.
But
Okay, when you pay attention to what he's saying, he's not defending the facilitation of rape. He's saying that a guy who arranged a marriage between a 16-year-old and a 27-year-old is being treated as the actual rapist, when they should be placing the charges they gave that man on the actual rapist. Now, the guy who arranged the marriage should do some heavy time in prison, and I believe the guy they're referencing is currently in prison. But what Tucker is saying is that the guy who actually married the underage girl and is having sex with that underage girl should be the one doing life in prison. But of course, they're twisting it to say that Tucker is defending statutory rape, that he's a rape apologist. Because God forbid we listen to the whole argument and keep what he says in its original context. Another context they ignore completely is jokes. You know, those compilations of words designed to make people laugh that may even offend a few people due to shock value? They attack him for making a joke about wanting to fuck Sarah Palin, which I would like to know why it's such a sexist crime for a man to do that, when women do it all the fucking time. They attack him for making a joke about Paris Hilton and some other chick named Britney being the biggest white whores in America. Which, to be fair, one did release a sex tape, so... Anyway, then they go after this joke.
So I'm just reading the story, trying to figure out how to get it into our show tonight about the kid, the 13-year-old, who was, I guess, molested, they're saying, by his teacher, who had sex with him 28 times in 1 week. She slept with this kid 28 times in 1 week. Now, I ask you...
in 1 week?
You have a lot of experience. You've been around, right? Could you do that?
Could I sleep with well, not a kid, but can I sleep with a woman?
Could you sleep with a 165-pound woman 28 times in 1 week? Are you physically capable of doing that, or do you take your hat off to this kid?
Yeah, this kid should get like a Nobel Peace Prize.
The Presidential Medal of Freedom, anyway.
Now, I would never defend anyone who would rape a child, whether a man rapes a girl or a woman rapes a boy. I think both of them deserve to burn in hell. But I will defend the right to make jokes about that subject. For one, it's just jokes. And for two, gallows humor like that is actually one of the most effective coping mechanisms for victims of rape or sexual assault. I know Tucker wasn't the victim of the crime in the jokes that he was making, but it's not fair to tell someone they can't make jokes just because they're not a victim, because there are victims who like it when people make jokes along with them. I know from personal experience, as I have never been raped or sexually assaulted, but I know people who have, and they've appreciated me joining in with their humor. But anyway, I'm gonna get to the main reason I'm making this video before I go off on more tangents. The left keeps pulling this bullshit tactic of finding offensive things said in the past and using them to shame the person today just because of the outrage mobs that attack these people. For example, Paula Deen, who made a racist joke 2 fucking decades ago and lost her career because of it. They also haven't let us forget about grab 'em by the pussy, not even after explaining that they let you do it means that they let you do it. And then we had the most recent fiasco where Kevin Hart was scrutinized by the left for making what they declared to be homophobic jokes. However, Tucker did one thing that all of these people should have done. He refused to apologize. He released this statement saying, "Media Matters caught me saying something naughty on a radio show more than a decade ago. Rather than express the usual ritual contrition, how about this? I'm on television every weeknight live for an hour. If you want to know what I think, you can watch. Anyone who disagrees with my views is welcome to come on and explain why." As always, you can't cuck the tuck. They've tried these tactics on him before, taking the shit he said out of context because they can't argue what he said on an intellectual level. So I don't think he'll suffer at all because of this. Hell, he will probably gain publicity because of this. It'll just be a bump in the road that will disappear in a few days as if nothing ever happened. The left will when the plan to take down Tucker fails, as they always do. But anyway, that is all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Feel free to share it on social media. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I will see y'all in the next video. Catch y'all later.